Hello. Alright, let's get straight into it. I didn't do much. I didn't do any LSIT practice. This is I'm saying this only after going to the gym for the first time. But yeah, I could certainly say that I didn't do any LSIT practice. I just did a lot of boxing, a lot of uppercuts and hooks to get rid of all that anger and rage and pain, hatred, whatever it is that I was experiencing yesterday. This feeling is so much that my dad asked me to get bread and I said no, because I didn't go out to go and get bread for him. I'm not his fucking errand boy. These same feelings could be feelings that I really have towards myself, in the sense that at my age, I haven't yet put myself in a position where I'm out on my own, which is what I'd rather want. So it's maybe not. It may not only be him that I was feeling so much anger and hate towards. It could be self-hatred and the fact that I haven't yet put myself in a position where I'm living by myself and I'm around people who I truthfully want to be, around. There isn't much else to report other than that in terms of how the session went. Yeah, that was it. Literally looking at. Oh wait. Never mind. Just seeing some girl drive, and I thought it reminded me of this hill. So I was just looking, like, nah, never mind. I was full on staring. You could see it. Anyway, that might actually be quite relevant to that topic, because I haven't given my mum or dad a hug in a while, and I know that showing signs of physical affection creates a healthier relationship. Because people just straight up like physical affection. I was watching a video about this a long while ago from a parenting course, and they were talking about this, and I applied that knowledge and I gave my mum and dad hugs very consistently, and they spoke to me in a more friendly way. And now that I'm not doing it, it's not happening anymore. They're not hostile to me. They try to be friendly, but in my mind, I'm thinking of saying I just don't care. But I think what would be more truthful is to say that right now, that's not so important as doing what I need to do to make sure that I'm ready to move out. I don't like what they feed themselves. I don't like the fact that they're focusing on the news. Not specifically any events, it's just the fact that they focus on that stuff that comes out of the news and what they watch on TV, like movies and that, or films. I specified movies and films for reasons I'm not going to explain, but there is a reason why I specify. There is a reason why I specified between the two. Apologies for the clip just cutting out. The alarm went off. I set numerous alarms: 6 a.m., 9 a.m., 12, 3, 6, 3 in the afternoon, 6 in the evening. The reason why I did that is the very original reason why I did that is to check how I'm doing in terms of productivity at each time in the day, but I haven't done that. Instead, what I've actually done is paid more attention to what I'm doing at these times. At 6 o'clock, I'm still sleeping, but then I'll be woken up by the alarm, and then I stay in bed. 9 o'clock, I'll be on the phone watching YouTube for maybe about half an hour before I get up. 12, I'm out. 3, I am having something to eat, and 6, I am in bed. Usually, that's what I've noticed since putting these alarms on. And the fact that I've had these alarms has meant that I've shown more awareness to what I'm doing throughout these times in the day, which is a start, rather than going from not doing any productivity checks throughout the day to doing productivity checks basically every 3 hours, like I'm some productivity freak. I'm not, and I don't want to be either. Doing too much could be unhealthy. However, let's get back to... Actually, no, that is pretty relevant. I can make that relevant to this video, because you can say that if you do too much in the gym, you could injure yourself. Doing too much of anything is unhealthy. But anyway, let's get back to the session. I purposefully wanted to elongate this video because there wasn't really much to report. I did boxing, maybe about 5 to 10 minutes, but I swung those punches with anger, with a lot of anger and with a lot of power. So much power that Harrison was looking at me. Harrison, even though he was training someone, he was looking at me. He would peek out. He'd take a peek from the door every once in a while as he'd hear me punch. He'd look, and then when I left, he said, "How was that? Was that all right?" And I told him I feel better now. It's the truth. It seems like what I'm doing is, in order to maintain my mental health, or maybe even improve it, I am fighting off anger, very, very literally speaking, in the form of hitting those punching bags instead of acting on dark thoughts I've had recently. They are very raw, and I was thinking of, do I actually say what they are? It may help, just like how I did with the series video on Plank Day 82. Even though the Plank series is no longer running, it may help. I had thoughts of throttling my dad, putting my hands on my dad. There was one thing he said in particular that wouldn't be worthy of doing that, but something that he just said when he was taking the piss. He asked me when I was there in the bedroom, he asked, "Are you back?" Even though I was right in front of him. And he was purposefully taking the piss. And I was just thinking, if that were to happen again, I'd throttle him. I'd grab him by his throat, I'd lift him up, and I'd put him against the wall. And I'd say, all that joking, you've got to cut that out. I also had those same thoughts that I had when I was speaking from Plank Day 82, except this time, before doing it, I kicked the door down and I went and did something very similar to someone who was just looking at me. To the dad of a child, a little boy that was staring me down in the street in a hypothetical situation. I did something similar. Then I run to the house, kick the door down, and do that thing. Those were the thoughts that I was having. These are extremely raw. However, the fact that I've spoken about them may be very helpful, because I know that speaking about them in Plank Day 82, that helped. So the fact that I'm allowing myself to talk about them now, even though they're very raw, is going to help. Just like how I did with the Day 82 stuff, I think. I haven't explained why though. The reverse law of effort, I'd say. Me allowing myself to voluntarily think, those dark thoughts will mean that they can. I'll be giving myself the power to allow these thoughts to naturally dissipate. In terms of progress, it's not linear. Sometimes you spike right down. You can spike right down, just like with the YouTube views and impressions. Impressions being how many people see your thumbnail for at least 1 second, or how many times your thumbnails are seen for at least 1 second or longer. All of it goes up and it goes down, just like how things can improve and regress. And it seems like that's what my mental health's doing. Although I've had all these dark thoughts recently, yesterday and the day before, am I actually going to act on them? Yes, but not in that way. Not in the not through actually acting out those thoughts I've had in real life. What I'll instead do is just take it out constructively, act on those thoughts constructively in the form of boxing, and then eventually do some martial arts. So I am going to act on them, but in a constructive way, rather than very directly out acting those thoughts, i.e. throttling my dad as I've thought of doing. Am I actually going to do that? No. Am I actually going to shoot my dad? No, I won't. No. However, I will act on those thoughts constructively in the form of boxing, in the form of martial arts. Thank goodness my articulation skills are solid. Otherwise, things could sound very, very, very misconstrued, as if I actually want to do those things to my dad. I've thought of them, but just because I've thought of them doesn't mean that when it's time to do it, I'd do it. I genuinely would not mind swinging. Those are the sorts of thoughts that I'd have, to make him feel my pain. All that powerlessness I felt that day when he said it's either him putting his hands on me or me putting his hands on him. And the fact that I could not protect myself that day because I didn't know how to fight. That's where it's coming from. It's coming from a place of weakness right now. That's all. I'm hurting. Hurting, but recovering in the form of boxing. The way how I was swinging those punches. It's coming from a place of weakness. I don't want to feel powerless anymore. And I won't. I refuse to be a victim. I refuse. I refuse to be a victim of powerlessness. I refuse. After all of the anger and the resentment and the hatred, the rage, that's where the core seems to be. Weakness. So, in order to work through this and actually prove to myself that I've become a strong person, and that I can look at myself with pride when I look at the mirror. I can look at myself with pride when I go to the mirror. I am going to box and get a black belt in some form of martial arts. So easy to say, and the fact that I'm saying it is an amazing start. I refuse to allow anyone make me seem inferior to them. Even though if I were to say that to Dad and say that he has done that, he'd deny it. And he might be right. I could say that he did that by telling me that thing, by saying that to me. And although I can't control what he says, I can control how I respond. Actually, no, sorry. even before that, I can control whether I react or respond. And then from there, how I react or respond. Those things I can control. Right now, I don't want to speak to mum or dad. They talk about nonsense all day, complain. Mum's talking about, when I addressed that the fact that dad said that to me, he said, you need to stop. Shit advice. But he told mum that I said this. And then she said, oh, I'm distressed. After that happened, I was thinking, shut up, mum. I don't know how they thought that they're fit to raise kids. I don't know. I really don't know how they thought they were fit to raise kids and that. That could sound very harsh, especially when my mental health improves. But the only way really I see my mental health improving is by using that anger and channeling it constructively. I was going to say holding on to it. I do mean that, but only if I am going to do that, it'll only be for a short while, just to further to use that as motivation, you could say, to further channel me. No, to allow myself to further go down that route of boxing and some form of martial arts that they do in the area. I know which one they do. I'm not confused about that, but I'm just not saying that's not your business. I might say later on in the future, but right now I'm not going to do that. It's not like anyone's going to watch this anyway, so it doesn't really even matter. I've been thinking about my legacy as well, and leaving a funeral note, not because I have a suicidal mental state or anything, but because I just have not yet done one, and I have been thinking about death. Not in the form of murder or anything like that, as my dark thoughts may make it seem. Not in that way, no. I instead mean, what would I tell? What note would I leave to people that know me personally, especially family? If I were to die young being 25 or younger, what would I say? What would I leave behind? I haven't left anything behind. So what do I say? What do I do? And when I was thinking about this yesterday, it was just a lot of hatred and anger to say fuck you to mum and dad. That was it. That was the note I was thinking of leaving. That was what first came to mind. I could feel the anger physically in between my pecs. That's why I'm feeling it at the moment. I can physically feel this hate. And although I may not have thought this back then, yesterday, I now think I wouldn't be saying that because I actually want anything to do with them, or because I want to make them feel the same pain I felt when they were raising me. But instead, because deep down I felt weak. Physically weak and powerless, and maybe even mentally weak. That's where it comes from. That's where it seems to come from. But that would show in the form of anger and hate, not in the form of depression at first glance. But that said, I took a depression and anxiety self-review test, yesterday and I got 13 out of 21 for depression. So I think, yeah, if I were to leave a note like that, which upon second glance I will not do, I'd be saying that not out of hatred deep down, but instead out of weakness and depression. Because the scores are telling me that my depression is 13 out of 21 as of yesterday. Anxiety 0 out of 21, but depression 13 out of 21. That's pretty high. With that score in mind, what it could be, how depression could work is that if your depression scores are low, then you're feeling at peace / happy, and you're feeling more than okay. And then mid scores could be just feeling anger and hate, and then depression is just feeling down in the slumps, like the sort of stereotypical image you may think of with like a suicidal emo kid just in his room, self-isolated, just laying on the floor with his back up against the wall, thinking of blowing his brains out or something, in completely black clothing. When I said the self-isolated part, it reminded me of me in the bedroom all the time. But then again, I'm not in there all the time. It's not like I'm there 24/7. I have been there for many hours of the day, but 24/7, no. If I were to leave a note, I am going to, but just not right now. Instead, what I'll do is I'll do myself one better. I will do what I think is better than leaving a note saying fuck you to mum and dad for saying, oh, they didn't teach me this, they didn't teach me that. And to dad in particular, because I felt powerless when he said that to me. Instead, I'll do myself one better and say, no, I'll do myself one better, in my opinion, and actually get rid of all of that weakness that I have inside of me. All of it. Work on getting rid of all of the weakness that I have inside of me. I take hot showers, for example. I don't go boxing. And when I had those dark thoughts yesterday, as I was on the way back home, I thought, no, it needs to get solved now. Even if that guy is willing to give me a similar amount of money, that £14 or around £14, then I'll use that to help myself out with those fighting lessons, because enough's enough. I haven't tracked my finances in a while, so that could be a part of why my depression score's high. Even though I did say I didn't have any financial worries, I haven't gone and tracked my finances as I said I wanted to. There's a lot going on that I need to sort out, and going to the boxing and the martial arts, getting a black belt and actually working towards it, staying consistent with it. I think what I'm predicting, that's going to help me get rid of all sorts of weakness. After watching a Better Bachelor video a very long time ago, maybe a couple of years ago, back when I was watching his content and also Red Pill content, like Donovan Sharp, back when I was in the early stages of watching Red Pill. Early stages for me, not when the manosphere was in its early stages, but the early stages for me, around about 22 years ago. I no longer watch that sort of content, and I'm now also thinking of saying I no longer really watch Hamza or anyone that he's gone and recommended. It's like a physical feeling that I have, almost as if there's something physically telling me not to watch his stuff. Fear response, it certainly could be, but I don't know what it is. However, I know that I'm not going to put myself in a position where I'm just going to be told, you need to do this, you need to do that. I'm not looking for that sort of figure. So in that regard, he can fuck himself. Yeah. I'm not looking for someone telling me, you should do this, you should be this way, you need to be the top 1%. Shut up. You won't. And fair enough, freedom of speech, right? But just like how he has freedom of speech, I have freedom of speech too. And what I'll say with that freedom of speech is, I'm not going to watch that sort of stuff. And I feel very free, not believing I'm in a cult or anything like that. Using all these fancy words and that. I wouldn't even say I'm on self-improvement anymore, let alone in a cult. That word, in my mind, has very negative connotations. Almost like the KKK. But yeah, with that, you need to do this, you need to do that. How to do this, how to do that. You can fuck off with that stuff. You can keep it on that side of YouTube, wherever that side of YouTube is. Yeah. That said though, I have gone and looked to see like the thumbnails and the titles to see what sort of stuff he's creating, and yeah, he's still creating the same stuff. If there's any reason why I'd be doing it, I think it's because I'd look at Luke Spurgeon's content in the same way, which rather ironically, I saw him commenting in Hamza videos. That's how I found out about him. But I'm not watching, I'm not looking at Luke Spurgeon's content because of that guy. No. And I noticed that I've contradicted myself by saying that I haven't really watched him or anyone that he's recommended. But then again, Luke was in is in the Hamza's comment sections. I wonder if that was something that I actually needed to get rid of. Something that I thought that I needed to get rid of. I don't know, but I do know one thing. I don't like that sort of videos. People thinking that they have the right to tell me what to do. I'm not searching for that. If I'm coming from a place where I'm searching for the advice, then fine, but I'm not searching for his advice anymore. And that's okay. So as far as I'm concerned, he can stay on whatever side of YouTube he's on creating his videos. Will I look at the thumbnails and titles every now and then? I think so. I think so. Yeah. Very honestly, yeah. Just to show myself that I'm really not interested in those you need to do this, you need to do that sort of videos. It's what the market likes, but I think there's better than that, honestly. I'd rather listen to someone which clearly shows that they've come from a place where they've done what they needed to do and actually know what they're talking about. And I am one of those people. Maybe not to other people. Other people being anyone who's watching this that isn't me. I wouldn't say I don't even know if this channel's worth watching to anyone else, but if no one really sees it in that way, I'm more than okay with that. If no one sees this channel other than myself, as a channel that's worth watching in terms of like the self-improvement, all these fancy words, self-improvement market. That's fine, because I'm not coming from a place where I'm telling people what to do. There's this guy on YouTube called D Chong, I think, and one of his, I think the very first video he made, it was like consistency, why you aren't staying consistent, some bullshit. But then his channel isn't. The audacity to tell people, oh, why you aren't staying consistent, and then you're not staying consistent yourself. But I've had this opinion for months, way back when I made that serious video. I've forgotten what it's called, but I edited the part out where I said this. But now I'm thinking, fuck that. No, it's what is on my mind right now. I don't think about it all day. It's not important enough to think about. And I'm not even saying that because I'm trying to undermine him. No, he genuinely is not that. He's not relevant to it in my mind. He's not important enough a person to think of without prompt. Nor is Hamza, to be honest. And that's okay. And I wouldn't say I am either. However, I am changing as a person, which is literally what that fucking self-improvement bullshit's about. I've got to make a new channel trailer. I have to make a new channel trailer. But anyway, I'll end it on this. I'll end this video on this. I'm looking to be someone, in terms of legacy, I'm looking to be someone that has clearly proven that if you want to live the life that you truthfully want to live, you can. That is the legacy that I want to leave behind. I don't care about being seen as nice, as friendly, as someone that has a lot of anger, a lot of hatred. I don't give a flying fuck about that. All in terms of legacy, as how I'd want other people to see me, other people who are searching for knowledge. The legacy that I want to leave behind is, I have very clearly proven that if you want to live the life that you want to live, truthfully want to live, not your life that you've been conditioned to want to live by your parents, like for example having Muslim beliefs. For me, fuck that shite. Yeah, if I want to have Muslim beliefs, I'll make that conscious decision by myself, not just because mum and dad have told me to live that sort of way, because my dad has picked that way. Fuck that. And in that regard, fuck him, because I am going to make that conscious decision for myself. No one has that right to decide what sort of beliefs that I have other than me. No one. Okay. All right, so yeah, the legacy that I want to leave behind is someone that's just clearly proven that if you want to live the life you truthfully want to live, you absolutely can, on the premise that you work on it every day. You can. Okay, this is the second time that I've been to the gym now, and I saw someone that I met rather recently, and this person has now actually managed to be able to do the handstand. Granted, with David's help, but she was able to do it. And I not only want to be able to do that, but I also want to be able to do that frog pose that she was doing. I called it crow pose when I was speaking to her, but it isn't. It's not crow pose, it's frog pose. Just for the sake of consistency, I called it that. Anyway, I was looking at her. Wow, I was fangirling. It was obvious I was fangirling. I was like, woo, yeah. But yeah, it's amazing to see that she could do that, and it just shows that it's possible. That if I want to do it, I can. Right now, I'm focusing on the Elsie, and I'll say to her, "Hey, you may be able to teach me with the handstand." She said, "Maybe not." But hey, we'll see. We'll see. It's a lot of fun. It's exciting. It's a lot of fun to be able to see someone do that, and then therefore know that you can do it yourself. Oh yeah, that's great. It's great. And she was telling me, as I was doing those same sort of L-sit exercises that I do on the bar, where I do a crunch and then L-sit and then come back down, She told me to have my legs fully extended and come down rather than bend at the knees first and come down how I do before. And I think that's slightly more difficult. I don't really know, but that's what happened. The second time got around in the gym, I was just also walking around a bit here and there. I went to do a little bit of boxing, but I did more calisthenics than anything because she was there and she was doing it. So it's like, oh well, because she's doing it, I'm gonna do it as well. It's just an excuse to, and I know I want to achieve. So I mean, why not? I felt my foot hurt a little bit in between the foot and the shin. Here, round about here. There you go. It was hurting me after coming up with my legs flat and then all the way up. I was able to do that now. I haven't been able to do that before, but it was like, wow. I did it with my shoes off and it was like, wow, I can't believe that I was able to do it. But yeah, I was. That's something new that I haven't been able to do before, but I've done it. So that's great. I made progress, which I may have not made today if she wasn't there, because I would have just gone boxing because I'm feeling hungry. I haven't had anything to eat and it's like, I don't even know, 2 o'clock something. Hey, but yeah, that's ow, I think I just gave myself a splinter. But yeah, that's the update that I wanted to give. I didn't expect to actually see her there, but not for any reason in particular. I just was not thinking about her, but then out of nowhere, her and David say that they were talking about me when I get there because of the calisthenics. I like where the L-sits are going, and the fact that I've gone and done some more L-sit practices shows that I can go back to L-sitting because my right knee's not just above my right knee is no longer hurting. Isaac said it could be my ACL. I've forgotten what he said that was. The uneducated mind is going to do some dumb shit. The uneducated mind is very susceptible to doing dumb things. Let's just put it like that, because the uneducated mind doesn't know. So, hey, I need to go out there and go learn. And I figured out I have my own way. Which I really think is going to work, that I'm going to use. Hell yeah. And I'll put it to you like this. It's very similar to what I'm doing now. Speaking to her was fun, and speaking to another girl that I saw in the gym was also fun. I like talking to people. These people are friendly. And we are built to be social beings. It is nice. It is nice fulfilling basic needs, at least maintaining or maybe even improving my social health. It's nice speaking to people and actually having solid conversations. The reason why I was speaking to this other girl in the first place was because her left arm wasn't coming up as much as her right, with bent over back rows. I think that's what they were. Bent over like you're doing a Romanian deadlift, but instead of her going about it like a deadlift, she was just pulling the weight up to her belly, basically. But yeah, no, it was fun. She's friendly, and the other girl that was with David, practicing the handstand. Oh yeah, friendly people. There's another girl in particular that I'm thinking of that I saw yesterday that I wasn't expecting to see. In my head I was thinking, oh no, she's not really that interested, so I'm not even going to go out my way to speak to her. But then in such a friendly way, when caught off guard, I was like, oh, how you doing? When I saw her on her bike. So I'm in my mind saying one thing, but then when I get caught off guard, it's another. I'm just friendly, even though she sounds interested, she's not interesting. But then I speak to her in such a friendly way when getting caught off guard. I think I could be sexually attracted to her, but she works at the gym, and I don't want to get things that's the gym that I want to work at. So if things do further progress, she's gonna have to get put in the friend zone so things don't get sticky. But yeah, I wanted to leave it at that instead of the last clip, because it's about my health we're talking about, just in this context, social health. Now I can end this video and say, maybe you enjoyed and learned something valuable. Even if you didn't, I don't care, because this is about my life, not yours. If you want to take something from this, then great. If you don't, then click off or do something, whatever you're doing. Just don't try and chat shit on the channel. And if you do, then your life sucks. But anyway, yeah. Okay, I'm gone. Bye.